Okay, now the previous examples were solved on the assumption that the compounding occurs once during a year. Okay, what if this is not the case? What if compounding occurs more than once? How will we solve the question? Okay, for this, we will have to use a slightly modified version of the formula. So in this formula, everything else remains the same except r will be divided by n, and n will be, and time will be multiplied by n. So what exactly is n? N is the number of times interest is compounded per year. Okay, for example, if the compounding occurs semi-annually, the number of times interest is compounded per year is 12 divided by 6, which is 2 times. Okay, or if it is, let me just write it. So if interest is semi-annually compounding is semi-annually, then number of times interest is compounded is 12 divided by 6, which will be 2. If it is quarterly, then 12 divided by 3, that will be 4 times. Okay, or if it's monthly, then 12 divided by 1, which is 12 times. Okay, so this is the number of times interest is compounded during a year. Okay, now let's look at an example. Mr. A borrowed 100 rupees. Let me just clear that. 100 rupees from Mr. B at 10% per annum, compounded semi-annually. Calculate the amount payable. You have to calculate the amount payable if the amount is repaid after 1 year. Okay, now let's quickly write the formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus R divided by N, all raised to NT. P is 100 rupees, R is 10%, T is 1 year. Okay, so what exactly is N? Here, look, the interest compounds semi-annually. Therefore, if it's semi-annually, then N will be 12 divided by 6, which will be 2 times. Okay, so N is equal to 12 divided by 6, which is 2 times. So plugging in the numbers, we will get A is equal to 110.25. I hope you got the right answer. Moving on to the next example. Oh, just before that, we'll be looking at the tree diagram, how the amount is in, how the amount of interest is obtained. So for 100 rupees, we'll be getting 10% interest for 6 months. So therefore, we'll be getting 5 rupees. Okay, this is how 5 in the interest of rupees 5 is worked out. The principal remains the same, on which another 5 rupees interest is earned for the second half of the year, which is represented as follows. Okay, the principal remains the same, and at the end of the year, you will have 100 rupees principal to repay, along with the 5 rupees interest, and you will have to pay 25 paise as interest on interest. Okay, those of you who don't know how this is worked out, just excuse me. 25 paise is we have earned 5 rupees interest. We will be earning 10% interest. That's per annum, but we are only earning it for 6 months. Therefore, that will be 25 paise. Okay, so we'll be having 5 rupees and 25 paise. Altogether, we will be having 110 rupees and 25 paise to repay to Mr. P. Moving on to the next example. Mr. A borrowed rupees 100 from Mr. B at a 10% per annum compounded semi-annually. Calculate the amount interest payable if the amount is repaid after 2 years. So in the earlier example, the time period was 1 year. Here it is 2 years. Okay. Now let's look at it. Look at the view. Let's put the formula in. A is equal to P into 1 plus R divided by N, all raised to NT. P is equal to 100 rupees, R is 10%, and T is equal to 2 years. So N is equal to 12 divided by 6, which will be 2 times. So number of compounding occurs in per year is 2 times. So A is equal to 100 into 1.1 divided by 2, all raised to 2 into 2, which is 4. We will get amount is equal to 121.55. Okay, so therefore the compound interest is A minus P, which is 121.55 minus 100 rupees, which will be 21.55. That's the compound interest, because the question is specifically asking for compound interest payable. Okay, moving on. Example 7. Mr. A borrowed 100 rupees from Mr. B at 10% per annum, compounded quarterly. Okay, you have to be careful. The compounding occurs quarterly. Quarterly means every 3 months. Okay, calculate the compound interest payable. So it's asking for compound interest payable if the amount is repaid after 1 year. Okay, let's put in the formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus R divided by N, all raised to NT. So we have P, R and T. It remains the same. N is equal to 12 divided by 3, because every quarter comprises of 3 months. Therefore, compounding occurs 4 times during a year. So putting in the formula, putting in the numbers into the formula, we will get A is equal to 110.38. Again, compound interest is equal to amount minus principal. So that is 110.38 minus 100, which will be 10.38. That will be the compound interest. Moving on to, I believe it is the final example. Okay, now Mr. A borrowed rupees 100 from Mr. B at a 10% per annum compounded monthly. Okay, calculate the compound interest payable if the amount is repaid after 1 year. Okay, again putting in the formula, all the facts remain the same except N. Okay, you have to be careful with N, because N is, we have 12 months during a year and compounding occurs every month. So there are 12 months. Okay, for every compounding occurs every month, and therefore compounding occurs 12 times during a year. Okay, so just let me just clear that. Therefore N is equal to 12 divided by 1, which is 12 times. Okay, therefore A is equal to 100 into 0.1 divided by 12, all raised to 12. Putting in the form numbers will give you 110.47. So I hope you can work out the compound interest amount from the amount, which will be simply 10.47. So as you can see, the amount is increasing as the compounding, the frequency of the compounding increases. Okay, so I hope everyone is clear on all the concepts so far. So in the next video, we'll be looking at future value and present value, which is based on the same concept. So thank you.